Hi, my name is Tori, and today I'll be demonstrating how to authenticate a Louis Vuitton purse.
It's time that people stop getting ripped off buying designer items when we could be getting our money's worth with the real, authentic designer items. Every day, thousands and thousands of people get ripped off when purchasing designer items because they have no knowledge on how to correctly authenticate designer handbags, wallets, and even shoes. This is exactly why I'll be teaching you guys on how to correctly authenticate designer items, so that you will always be able to get what you pay for. While I'm no professional in authenticating designer items, I have done plenty of research on this topic to ensure my accuracy in teaching people on how to authenticate designer items. It's important for people who like to buy used designer products over new products from secondhand retailers to know how to authenticate so they can get their money's worth and never waste a dime. When it comes down to authenticating a Louis Vuitton item, the only real thing that you will need is a Louis Vuitton item of your choice and a good set of eyes. Kathleen from Your Next Handbag states that the majority of Louis Vuitton bags that are sold for very cheap online are because they're either fake or in terrible condition. When it actually comes down to authenticating Louis Vuitton material, there are 5 main things you want to check for when authenticating any Louis Vuitton bag, which is the logos and the monogram, the stitchings, and the stamps and hardware, and the packaging. One of the first things you want to look at when authenticating any Louis Vuitton item is looking over the monogram and logo to ensure accuracy. The luxury says how many times companies try and make fake products, they combine many different Louis Vuitton details to convince the buyer that it is real. In this photo, by Deluxe Second Chance, you can see how the Louis Vuitton monogram is supposed to look like. Usually, if it is a fake, you want to look for crooked shapes or letters that are very hard to spot, and if the seams do not line up perfectly or a stitch is off, that bag is most likely fake. Louis Vuitton is a company that is very proud of their logo, which is why they never cover logos or monograms with handles or anything of that sort. Another thing to be looking at when looking for the monogram and logo is if anything is crooked or missing. The last thing you want to look at is the actual color of them. Many fake Louis Vuittons use lighter colors than the actual Louis Vuitton because they cannot use the same color. As you can see in this one right here, this is a fake Louis Vuitton purse, and the color is a lot lighter than this color right here. Now that you've confirmed that the logos and monograms are real, it's time to start looking at the stitching and the stamp inside every Louis Vuitton bag. In every Louis Vuitton bag is a stamp with a place and date code that shows that it is authentic. Louis Vuitton uses this instead of putting a card that it comes inside the purse. If the purse has a stamp inside, that still does not mean it is real. Other ways you can tell if the Louis Vuitton stamp card inside your Louis is real is by checking the date code. Unlike most designer companies, Louis Vuitton uses a date code rather than a serial number. As you can see, the date code represents the factory where it was made, the date and the year where the bag was made. The current date code has 2 letters followed by 4 numbers, and the first 2 letters represent the factory location, the first and third numbers represent the week of the year, and the second and fourth numbers represent the year. To know what letters go to each factory, we'll have to look at a list just like this one. For example, this code would represent that it was made in October of 1999 in France. In this picture on the luxury website, it shows the difference between a real and fake Louis Vuitton stamp. As you can see, the fake ones only have minor changes like the size of the O that is too big. Another thing you want to look for is the mustard yellow stitching that goes around the handles and around the stitching on the stamp. According to Diana Nigan, 90% of Louis Vuitton bags sold on eBay are fake, which is why it's so important to pay attention to these small details that signify it is real. The next thing you want to start looking at is the packaging and hardware, which most people would never notice there was a difference. The hardware used on Louis Vuitton items is made of a metal, which means it's a lot heavier than plastic and brass, which makes it an easy factor in determining whether it is real or not. Also, make sure to check the zipper and make sure everything is very smooth. If you struggle to zip the zipper like this one, it is fake, just like this. And in this picture, you can see how Legos in My Louis shows that there is no factory branding, which is something that Louis Vuitton never does. Right here is a real Louis Vuitton bag, and as you can see, the zipper zips very easily because this is a real bag, which means it has good quality in the zipper, unlike fake Louis Vuitton bags that come from China. If you are someone who is interested in buying a designer product, it is important you pay close attention to the many ways you can authenticate this item to make sure you do not get scammed. The main things you want to be looking for when authenticating a Louis are the stamp code inside the bag, the packaging, the hardware, the monogram, and making sure the color scheme is correct in all places of the bag. There is a pretty good chance that you won't get ripped off if you make sure to look over all the details that make a fake different from a real.